Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Krishna bolo bolo, bolo re sabai. Radha Krishna bolo bolo, bolo re sabai. 8 bit, 8 bit. ತಿನ್ನನ ತೆತ್ತಾದ ಶಿಖಾ ದಿಯಾ राधा कृष्ण बोलो 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 रे सबाई ये शिक्षा दिया सपना दिया पीछे नीचे गौर निताय पीछे नीचे गौर নিচে মায়ার বসে যাছো বেশে কাছো আবরু বুবাই বসে যাছো বেশে কাছো আবরু বুবাই রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো 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 রে जीव कृष्ण दास ए विश्वास करले तो दुख नाय जीव कृष्ण दास ए विश्वास करले तो दुख नाय ए विश्वास करले तो दुख कृष्ण बोलबे जाबे पुलक खाबे जोभे आँखी खोली ताय राधा कृष्ण बोलो 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 रे सबाई राधा कृष्ण बोलो संगे चलो यही मात्र भिक्षा चाय राधा कृष्ण बोलो संगे चलो यही मात्र भिक्षा चाय जय सकाल विपद भक्ति बिना डोले जातो नो नाम गाय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्णा। Hare Krishna. So welcome you all for this morning class on Srimad Bhagavatam. So today's shloka is first canto, second chapter, number 23. Sattvam Rajaha Tamaha iti prakrite guna te yuktaha paraha purushaha एकः इह अस्या धत्ते स्थिति आदये हरि विरिंचि हर इति संज्ञा श्रेयांसि तत्र खलु सत्त्व तनो नृणां स्युः। सत्त्वं रजस्तमैति प्रकृतेर्गुणास्तैर् युक्तः परः पुरुष एक इहास्य धत्ते स्थित्यादये हरिविरिञ्चि हरेति संज्ञा श्रेयांसि तत्र खलु सत्त्वतनो नृणां स्युः। सत्त्वं रजस्तमैति प्रकृतेर्गुणास्तैर् युक्तः परः पुरुष एक इहास्य धत्ते स्थित्यादये हरिविरिञ्चि हरेति संज्ञा श्रेयांसि तत्र खलु सत्त्वतनो नृणां स्युः। सत्त्वं रजस्तमैति प्रकृतेर्गुणास्तैर् युक्तः परः पुरुष एक इहास्य धत्ते स्थित्यादये हरिविरिञ्चि हरेति संज्ञा श्रेयांसि तत्र खलु सत्त्वतनो नृणां स्युः। Please repeat. Please recite. सत्त्वं रजस्तमैति प्रकृतेर्गुणास्तैर् युक्तः परः पुरुष एक इहास्य धत्ते स्थित्यादये हरिविरिञ्चि हरेति संज्ञा। Anyone more? One. रजस्तमैति प्रकृतेर्गुणास्तैर् युक्तः परः पुरुष एक इहास्य धत्ते श्रेयांसि तत्र संज्ञा श्रेयांसि तत्र खलु सत्त्वतनो नृणां स्युः। Word to word meaning, translation and purport. By His divine grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Sattvam, goodness, Rajaha, passion, Tamaha, the darkness of ignorance, Iti, thus, Prakrite, of the material nature, Guna, qualities, Tai, by them, Yuktaha, associated with, Paraha, transcendental, Purushaha, the personality, Ekaha, one, Ihasya, of this material world, Dhatte, accepts, Sthiti Adaye, for the matter of creation, maintenance and destruction, etc. Hari, Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, Virinchi, Brahma, Hara, Lord Shiva, Iti, thus, Samnya, different features, Shreyamsi, ultimate benefit, Tatra, therein, Khalu, of course, Sattva, goodness, Tano, form, Nunam, of the human being, Syu, derived. Translation and purport. Translation. The transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative modes of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of goodness. Purport. That Lord Sri Krishna, by his plenary parts, should be rendered devotional service, as explained above. He is confirmed by this statement. Lord Sri Krishna and all his plenary parts are Vishnu Tattva, or the Lordship of Godhead. From Sri Krishna, the next manifestation is Baladeva, and from Baladeva is Sankarshana, from Sankarshana is Narayana, from Narayana there is second Sankarshana, and from this Sankarshana the Vishnu Purusha Avataras. The Vishnu, or the deity of the quality of goodness in the material world, is the Purusha Avatara known as Kshirodakshay Vishnu or Paramatma. Brahma is the deity of Rajas, passion, and Shiva of ignorance. They are the three departmental heads of the three qualities of this material world. Creation is made possible by Brahma's quality of passion and his endeavor. It is maintained by the goodness of Vishnu, and when it requires to be destroyed, Lord Shiva does it by the Tandava Nritya. The materialist and the foolish human beings worship Brahma and Shiva respectively, but the pure transcendentalists worship the form of goodness, Vishnu, in his various forms. Vishnu is manifested by his millions and billions of integrated forms and separated forms. The integrated forms are called Godhead, and the separated forms are called the living entities or the Jivas. Both the Jivas and Godhead have their original spiritual forms. Jivas are sometimes subjected to the control of material energy, but the Vishnu forms are always controllers of this energy. When Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, appears in the material world, he comes to deliver the conditioned living beings who are under the material energy. Such living beings appear in the material world with intentions of being lords, and thus they become entrapped by the three modes of nature. As such, the living entities have to change their material coverings for undergoing different terms of imprisonment. The prison house of the material world is created by Brahma under instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the conclusion of a kalpa, the whole thing is destroyed by Shiva. But as far as maintenance of the prison house is concerned, it is done by Vishnu. As much as the state prison house is maintained by the state, anyone therefore who wishes to get out of this prison house of the material existence, which is full of miseries like repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age, must please Lord Vishnu for such liberation. Lord Vishnu is worshipped by devotional service only, and if he may ask for relative facilities from temporary relief from the different demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Varuna. No demigod, however, can release the imprisoned living being from the conditioned life of material existence. This can be done only by Vishnu. Therefore, the ultimate benefit may be derived from Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Bhagavalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurati Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So this section from this verse 23 to 29. Before this from 16 to 22nd I suppose, yeah. So that section describes about the glories of devotional service, how bhakti progresses, how one can progress in devotional service. Now in this section it is described about Lord Krishna and his expansions or his we can say his servants like the demigods. So this section describes about the Lord and his assistants or his expansions like that. The first shloka itself says about Brahma and Shiva also. So as we all know, Prabhupada also explained how the expansion happens. First is Krishna, then from Krishna comes Balaram, from Balaram comes first Chaturvyuha, Aniruddha, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Vasudeva. And in that Chaturvyuha from Sankarshana comes Narayana. Narayana, it's written Narayana. From that Narayana comes second Chaturvyuha. In that second Chaturvyuha, from Sankarshana comes Karanadaksha Vishnu. And from him comes all other Purusha avatars like Gargodaksha Vishnu and like that it goes. So the same Krishna we have we know that Lord Krishna has different avatars. Like one class I was telling avatars. What is the meaning of avatara? What is the difference between avatar and expansion? Incarnation, expansion. What is the difference? What is the difference between incarnation and expansion? Yeah, avatar means to descend. So that means incarnation. So descending from one world to the another world. That means spiritual world to the material. One who descends. Avatar means one who descends. And expansion means either in the spiritual or in the material world, he expands himself into the same person and for the purpose of Leela, like Krishna expanding into different Krishnas in Ras Leela. So that's called expansion in the same domain, whether it is material or spiritual. But avatar means one who descends from spiritual world to material world. That's avatar. So Krishna has many avatars like Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Purusha avatars. We all know this. So Guna avatars of Lord Krishna is Sattva-guna is Lord Vishnu, Rajoguna is Brahma, and Tamoguna is Shiva. Now, some may misunderstand that is Brahma in Rajoguna, is Shiva in Tamoguna. No, it is not like that. So Brahma is the in charge of Rajoguna, and Shiva is the in charge of Tamoguna, and Vishnu is the in charge of Sattva-guna. Prabhupada clearly says in the lecture that in charge, he uses the word in charge. That means they are not under the modes. Just like the jail keeper, superintendent, he is always in the jail, but he is not the prisoner. He is always in the jail, but he is not the prisoner. Similarly, they are controlling, they are in charge of that mode, but they are not in that mode. We know that Nimnaganam yatha Ganga, Devanam achyuto yatha, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambho, Purananam idam tata. So Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. So he is not under the modes. He is always worshipping the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada explains how this material world, Prabhupada explains that this is the function of the material world, how this functions. It is created, it is there for some time, and it is destroyed. And that is the nature of the material world. Whatever is created, that will be destroyed one day or the other. And that's why Lord has put different personalities to do different activities. Now, Prabhupada gives example. Now, in this shloka, the most important word in this shloka is Shreya. You can see in the fourth line. Can you come down? Shreya. So, Shreya means the ultimate good for the living entity. Where do we hear this word Shreya? At some other place. Arjuna asking Lord Krishna 3 times, please describe what is good for me in 2.7 and 3.2 and 5.1 or 2 maybe. 1. So 3 times Arjuna is asking, please tell me what is the ultimate good for me. So like this, in the whole Bhagavatam also we can see the devotees asking either the saints or the Lord, please explain me what is the ultimate good for me. Please describe what is the ultimate good for me. Or the devotees, the Mahabhagavatas explaining to us what is the ultimate good. What is the first question of the sages? What is the first question? Yes. Yeah, ultimate benefit. What is the ultimate benefit or the ultimate good for the people in general? And the answer for that is Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yatho Bhaktir Adhokshade Ahaitukya Pratihata Yatma Suprasidati. So that Shreya, that ultimate good. So we know Shreya and we know Preya. Preya is a temporary good, and Shreya is the permanent or the eternal good, which is good for all the time. Now in other sections of the Bhagavatam also, this Shreya has been explained. And there is one shloka which we recite every day. Every day. Do you remember? Every day we recite this Shreya word. Every day we recite together. Yes. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jeevan. Can someone read the translation of that first verse? Shikshastakam.
glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all that has accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
So this Shikshashtakam is also there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Madhya Leela, Antya Leela, 20th chapter, Shloka number 12. That is also the Cheto Darpana Marjan, that verse is there. So in the translation, Prabhupada gives a little different way. He says that, let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon. Waxing means increasing, waxing moon. That spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It's a different translation is there. What is this waxing moon is doing? What is chanting is compared to the waxing moon, the moon which is growing in size. And what is that moon is doing? With that spreads the white lotus of good fortune. That spreads the white lotus of good fortune. Here Kairava. Kairava means white lotus. Shreyaha Kairava. Kairava means white lotus. White lotus of good fortune. Good fortune means Shreya. Shreyaha Kairava. White lotus of good fortune for all living entities. Vitaranam, spreading. It is the life and soul of all education. And the whole education is meant for what? Is come to the level of understanding that the chanting of the holy names of the Lord is the essence, that's the highest. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. Just like the moon is giving out the cool rays, and especially Sharad Purnima, on the day when the Ras Leela happens. So Radha and Krishna and all the gopis, they enjoy the it's very pleasant, that moon rays, and anyone we can experience in a night time, especially on Purnima day. It's very pleasing to see the sun, the moon rays. So it will be as much pleasing as that when we take up to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. It is as ultimate good fortune for us, like that. We can also find this Shreya in the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. What does he say? Says that Nate Vidu Swarth Gatim Hi Vishnu. Says your real self-interest is in the worship of Lord Vishnu. What is the full shloka? Durashaya ye bahirarthamanina. Third line. Anda yathante rupagiyamanam tepi shanda rudham nibadya. So the real self-interest is in the Vishnu. But what the people are doing, Durashaya ye bahirarthamanina. Durasha. Asha is desire. Durasha means sinful desire, or that desire which is not proper. Durashaya bahirardhaman, that is bahirardha, towards the external desires, the sense objects. Durashaya bahirardhamanina. Andha yatandir upagiyam, the blind following the blind. So one person is towards the material advancement, external sense gratification, and everyone is considering them as hero and following them and going. That fellow is taking them to hell, and they are also going to hell. Andaha yatande rupagiyamana. Tepisha tantra uridhamni badya. Uridhamni, it's rope, right? Rope. It's a very strong rope of attachment. So, Prabhupada gives one example of a jail and the jail keeper and the prisoner. So, what he says is that when a person commits sinful activities and he goes into the jail, he is given a strong punishment. He is given to lift stones, break the stones, lift the stones. Very heavy punishments are given. But suppose if that prisoner has some knowledge, means he is able to type in the laptop or the computer. He can do some typing work. So then the jail officer, the jailer, the superintendent, he sees the talent, this little talent he has, and he tells him, okay, you need not work here, very hard work. You come into my office and you start typing the documents. So then Prabhupada explains that because that person, anyways, he is a criminal, but because he had got some relationship with the superintendent, so he is doing the typing work, but still he is in the jail only. So he developed some connection with the superintendent. But I know that typing works. So can you please remove me from this very hard work? It's very troublesome. So put me in the office. I will do typing work. Prabhupada says that is what the living entities are doing in this world when it comes to demigods. Oh, it's so troublesome, the world. We have to work. So there are so many miseries. So what I will do? I will make a contract with the demigods, Brahma, Shiva, and other Indra, and other demigods. So that what happens is they do some puja, some rituals they will do, and they will get some material benefits. But still, they are in the material world. Who can remove the prisoner from the jail? Who can completely remove? Who has the rights? Government. Prabhupada writes in the purport as state. Only the state can, the government has the authority to completely take him out of the jail. Similarly, it is only Krishna who can award liberation from the cycle of birth, old age, disease, death in this cycle, in this material world. It is only Krishna who can award the living entity the liberation. Then he goes on saying that in this world, then Prabhupada explains about Rajoguna, Tamoguna and Sattoguna. In fact, after this shloka, the next shloka explains that what is better. First is the wood. It gives, the Bhagavatam gives the example, the wood, and the better than the wood is the smoke. Better than the smoke is the fire. So we want fire. Because fire you can cook, you can burn lamp, something you can use, it is useful. So similarly, the lowest mode is the Tamogun, little higher is the Rajogun, and much higher is the Sattvagun. So we want Sattvaguna. Just like fire, you can use it, you can utilize it for cooking and other purposes. Similarly, Sattvaguna is very much useful for the person who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness. Then Prabhupada gives example, how in Kali Yuga everyone is in Tamoguna. Now, who is in Sattvaguna? Which class of people are in Sattvaguna? Brahmanas. Which class of people are in the Rajoguna? Kshatriyas. And the Vaishyas are in Rajo and Tamo. And Shudras are in Tamoguna. So Prabhupada says that in the previous times, and Kshatriyas, they, instead of protecting the citizens, they loot from the citizens. That's why Prabhupada called democracy as demon crazy. It is just looting. There are just so much corruption. There's so much money is being looted. That is why in Kali Yuga everyone is a Shudra, because everyone is in the mode of ignorance. Kalau Shudra Sambhava. Everyone who is taken birth in the Kali Yuga is Shudra. Because neither we are following the proper Brahminical standards, neither one who is in the government, who is ruling the country, neither they are protecting the citizens, and the Vaishyas, Prabhupada says, how Vaishyas are not the Vaishyas. Vaishyas are supposed to take care of the cows and do agriculture. But nowadays, Vaishyas are opening big factories. Big factories. They forgot the protection of the cows. No one is protecting the cows. So the Vaishyas are not the Vaishyas. Only for the namesake they are Vaishyas. So they are just doing some Shudra work. What is factory work? Factory work is just Shudra work, no? It is dealing with the matter, that's it. There is no protection of the cows. In fact, in the factories, the cows are killed and they are making business out of it, which is completely sinful, Shudra. So that's why Prabhupada goes saying that in Kali Yuga, everyone is a Shudra, like that. So, just like fire, better than the wood is the smoke, better than the smoke is the fire. So one must come to the level of Sattva-guna. From Rajoguna, in fact, in one purport of third chapter, wherein the shloka comes, Arjuna asks the question, Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha anichannapi vashnaya baladiva niyojita. My Lord, what is that impelling force which is driving us to commit sinful activities, even though one doesn't want to do? And Krishna answers, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajoguna samudbha, Mahashana Mahapapa, Vidhyena Mihavairima. So it is lust and the greed which is coming out of the touch with the mode of passion. Prabhupada gives just like the milk when it comes in touch with the khatta, sour thing, it turns into curd. Similarly, the pure living entity, when it comes in touch with the mode of passion, what comes out is lust and anger. And if the lust is not satisfied, it turns into anger. So in that purpose, Prabhupada writes that, so therefore one, by the process of Krishna consciousness, this Rajoguna that we imbibe, instead of degrading to the Tamoguna, we should elevate it to Sattva-guna. So if the lust is not satisfied, which turns into anger, and Prabhupada says anger means mode of ignorance. Anger means, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Gita, anger means mode of ignorance. So instead of gliding down to the mode of ignorance, one must, by the process of Krishna consciousness, control that and rise to the mode of goodness. And that is possible by Krishna consciousness. And the activities that we are doing is in the mode of goodness. We get up early in the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock, the Brahma Muhurta time, and attending Mangalarati, chanting the holy names, and as soon as we get up, we take bath, isn't it? And we wear fresh clothes, and every day there is cleaning of the ashram is happening, and we are cooking, and the food that is only the Krishna, we are offering to Krishna only the vegetarian food, which is free from Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So the whole activities are centered about Sattva-guna. And Prabhupada gives one very wonderful example of how this Sattva-guna helps one to go to the transcendental platform. He gives example, just like you want to fly somewhere. You want to fly from Mumbai to Delhi, let us say. So what do? First, you cannot fly from Bhiwandi just like this. So you have to go to a particular place where there is a facility for you to fly. And what is that? Airport. So you go to airport, you have to board the plane, then the plane will take you to the other destination. So that airport is considered to be Sattva-guna. So to reach to the airport, that means to reach to Sattva from another levels of Tamoguna and Rajoguna, you have to reach to at least Sattva. And in Sattva, when you practice Krishna consciousness, that will take you to the higher level. There are many people who are practicing goodness, who are in the goodness platform. There are many people who are much cleaner, much neat, very nice, but they are not practicing Krishna consciousness. So they are just stuck in the goodness. Like for example, what is the conditioning for the goodness? How the people are conditioned in the goodness? See, they don't have any bad habits, they don't smoke, they don't drink, they don't watch movies, anything, but they are very good, and they are very good. Now, how they are conditioned, you go and tell them, please read Bhagavad Gita, please come to our programs. I know everything. I am happy. Why should I come now? I am satisfied. I have good family, I have good job, I have good salary. There are many people like that who are very nice, but they don't come to Krishna consciousness because one reason is there is no that sufficient prayers credits. How Krishna says Sukritina, that Sukriti is not attained, and the another reason is the condition in the mode of goodness. That is what is stopping them to take up Krishna consciousness. And this conditioning of the mode of goodness is also there with the devotees. How? When you come start practicing Krishna consciousness, you start experiencing the mode of goodness. You feel very nice. Oh, the people are very nice. Oh, the prasadam is so nice. Oh, it is so calm here. So everything is nice. So that is mode of good. Oh, so much wonderful knowledge. Gita, Bhagavatam, the knowledge of the soul. It's so wonderful. Goodness means the knowledge. The senses are enlivened with knowledge. That is goodness. So what happens is slowly one becomes conditioned with that goodness. So everything is very nice. So I will not go outside. Getting? I will not go outside. But the real Krishna consciousness is working without attachment, without fruitive results, and only for the pleasure of the Lord. Many of the times, as we devotees, we become stuck in the comfort zone. That comfort zone is nothing but in the goodness. Everything is nice, everything is on time. It's in the comfort zone. So if I go outside, then there will be some problem. Outside in the sense, when I go for preaching, I take some effort to travel and preach, preaching purpose, Harinam or book distribution, like that. So that is coming out of your mode of goodness, coming out of your comfort zone. And doing activity means you need to have some Rajoguna also. Otherwise you cannot act. But we can also see in the life of Srila Prabhupada, not only he was fully absorbed in the daily temple activities, but at the same time he was also traveling and preaching and debating and defeating others' philosophies. So one may say, so that is because of Rajoguna the activities are done. But a pure devotee like that, he is beyond the modes. Even though it appears that it is Rajoguna, but it's not Rajoguna, it is in the transcendental mode. But we are not on that level, so we have to have at least some sort of Rajoguna to go out and do something. So that should come in a very healthy way through the teachings, through the philosophy, like how we have to do, how we have to act. Krishna says in the Karma Yoga chapter, 3rd chapter, one has to act without any, like Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Ma Manusmara Yuddhacha Mayarpita Manobuddhi Ma Mevashyata Samshaya. Arjuna, you fight. How you fight? You fight always remembering me. Always Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Ma Manusmara. By remembering always, you fight. Mayarpita Manobuddhi. Put your mind, offer everything onto me. In that way you fight. So, Krishna is the source of all the demigods. This is Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, and any other demigods. And he proclaims this in the Chatushloki Bhagavatam also. In the second canto, 9th chapter, 33rd verse, he says, Aham evasam evagre. O Brahma, because Chatushloki, who taught Chatushloki to whom? Krishna taught to Brahma, Chatushloki. O Brahma, it is I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the Personality of Godhead. So, Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate, this world is created, maintained, and destroyed. And who is doing all these things? It is Vishnu, Krishna, who is doing. Actually, why maintenance is taken by Vishnu? Because maintenance is it's a heavy task. Creation, you just make it and you give. Destroying just in one shot you can destroy. But maintaining, the material world means maintenance. You see any object in this world, you have to maintain. Like temple hall, ashram, every day we are cleaning. Because every day there is dust coming. This is how material world is. Body every day, it's not one time you took bath and after 10 days you have to take. Every day you have to take bath. Nails, how many times you have to cut the nails? Thousands of times. This is material world. Material world means maintenance. So to do maintenance, what mode you require? Sattvagun. So one who is Sattvagun, he is not disturbed in the material world. One who is in Rajagun, he is disturbed. Even to cut the nails, he will be disturbed. They may just grow the nails. To clean something or to maintain something, he will be frustrated. Actually, goodness means organized. Goodness means organized, cleanliness. Rajaguna means very disturbed. I can't do this. And we have a lot of Rajaguna. Everyone has that. Because sometimes we cannot organize the things. Because we don't have that clear vision. That clear vision is lost because of no goodness and because of the presence of Rajaguna and Tamaguna. So one who gets easily disturbed, or even after telling so many times he is not changing, so that is Rajaguna and Tamaguna. So Tamaguna, how many times you tell, he doesn't change. He just, it hits and it goes. That's it. Like very dull. Tamag means very dull. Doesn't go into the brain. So maintenance requires a lot of goodness. And not only maintenance, goodness helps us in the performance. See, who is able to sit 2 hours at one place and chant 16 rounds? You tell out. Once my family, they came to know that I chant 16 rounds. Are Baba, how you are chanting? We cannot chant even 1 round. So they can't chant because the mind is so much flickering. The mind is not stable. So it's very difficult for them to sit at one place and chant. There are some people who cannot sit only, they have to walk. For the brain to work, they have to walk. There are many people like that, they have to walk. So they are in that mode, in the mood of Rajoguna. So that is how the modes, it plays with us. Even though the soul is pure, but the modes, they play with us. Radhesham gives wonderful example how the material nature, it acts. He gives the example of pakoda. Now, to make a pakoda, what you require? First is kadai, then you need oil in that. The oil has to be heated, and second thing is basin, that means saying the dough should be ready. And the third thing is the spoon. Okay, so he says that who are we? We are, suppose let us say we are making aloo ka pakoda. So we are that aloo. Okay, we are that aloo. So you can make pakoda in different shapes. You can make goal, you can make flat, you can make sticks. So what the material nature does, the material nature, and one who is making pakoda, he is the material nature, Durga Dev. So what material nature does, he takes the aloo piece, that means it is taking the jiva and dipping in the batter. So that is different species that are there, and it is putting in the hot oil. So that is this material world. Its hot oil is burning. It is so much suffering. This is a material world. It has put into this material world, and the jiva comes into this material. And the pakoda, when it fries, it comes out different shapes, and that is different kinds of species. Snakes, ants, butterflies, mosquitoes, houseflies, humans, tigers, lions, giraffe, virus, bacteria, fungi, algae, trees, birds, cows. The material nature gives different bodies. Just like you make a pakoda, you make different shapes. And who is that spoon which is tossing that pakoda? Who is that spoon? That is the three modes. The three modes are tossing. Just like the spoon is tossing the pakoda. Arey, you go that hot side, go this, come to the center, go to the back. The spoon is turning. Similarly, the modes of the material nature toss us. In the three kleshas that we experience, Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adidaivika. It is tossing, and we are fried in that. Sometimes deeply fried, sometimes halfly fried, like that. So that is the position of the living entity in this world. And even after this, so much of frying, what the jiva thinks in this world, I am so nice. I am enjoying. Everything is so nice. No, there is no hot. Everything is very nice in the hot oil. Oil is burning and he is thinking, oh, it's so nice. Oh, I can keep AC. I can keep fan. So, that's so. In another way, material nature is making us to forget. It's making us to forget the reality actually. Because of AC, we think that there is no hotness only in this world. When you go into the car, it is so hot outside. You have to switch on the AC, and you forget the reality of the world by putting AC. We forget the reality. So when we use the facilities, we forget the reality of the world, and we think that okay, I can make arrangements here, and I can live happily here. That's what the consciousness comes. But ultimately, he has to die. Even though you have any AC or any car or anything, if the problem is solved, that's why it is said that how is material enjoyment? There's an example given. How is material enjoyment? Material enjoyment is like eating sweet rice, and when you are eating sweet rice, suddenly, what is that? Stone. The sweet rice is nice. Externally, it looks, the surface texture looks very nice. The taste also looks very nice. But suddenly, what happens is there's a break in the teeth because of that sweet rice has the stones. So material enjoyment is also like that. It looks very nice, but unknowingly there is a time where we experience that, oh, there is suffering here. and not just suffering, it is it is a tale of suffering. It is said that it starts with a very pleasant way and it ends with a tale of suffering. Tale means very long. It's not point, it is tale. So it's a tale, it ends with a tale of suffering. So, in the midst of all these things, one must realize that the ultimate good for the jiva is to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna or Vishnu, and in that way only one can derive the ultimate benefit. It is Krishna. Krishna is called Mukunda. Mukunda means one who gives liberation. There is no other name of any other demigod which means one who gives liberation. There is no other name. Shiva means auspicious, and Shiva also has also name Ashutosh, one who is very pleased. You just put some water and put some bay leaves, he is pleased. You ask anything, whether it is demoniac desire or acha desire, bura desire, he is ready to give because he is pleased. We have seen many demons who got benediction from Shiva, Ravana, Vrikasura and all. So one must realize that my ultimate good is in the worship of the Lord, because Lord Vishnu only can help me to come out of this world. And how to worship Lord Vishnu? It requires Sattva-guna, and we have to develop that Sattva-guna, and not just Sattva-guna. See, you have to go to Delhi, and you have to go to airport, Bombay airport. Now after going to Bombay airport, you see that it's so nice, shops are there, so nice, people are here speaking, welcoming me. So nice machines, elevators are working. It is AC. Outside there is no AC. Airport full of AC. So if you think that it's very nice here, I will not go to Delhi. I will be here only. Is the purpose fulfilled? No. So coming to Sattva-guna is just coming to airport, where you feel everything is so nice. Go to airport, it's so class. It's so nice when you go to airport, because everything is so hi-fi and so clean and everything. But you have missed the flight. You have missed the flight going to Delhi because you are immersed in the goodness of the airport. Airport is so goodness, tucking in the goodness is like that. Everything is nice. But you have to take a flight to reach to another destination, and that is the practical engagement in the service of the Lord. Practical engagement. Coming out of that comfort zone and taking some efforts in serving the Lord, and that is possible in the process of preaching Krishna consciousness. That's why it is said, as a full-time devotees, we must take up some voluntary activities, voluntary services, because whole day we cannot remain in goodness. How much you can chant, how much you can read, how much you can just think of Krishna, how much you can dress. You cannot keep all the time in mode of goodness. You must do something practical. Of course, the most practical thing is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. The most practical thing is chanting the Hare Krishna. What is more practical than that? At the same time, we may get stuck in that because we are not in the transcendental level. We are trying to develop mode of goodness, then go to the transcendental level. So one may get stuck up in that activities, and so one has to do some voluntary preaching activities or services, whatever. So that keeps us to come out. That makes us to come out of the comfort zone, and that is the example. You don't miss the flight. You don't miss the flight. Like that. So I'll stop here. So today is also the disappearance of Sri Vamsidas Babaji and Sri Raghunandan Thakur. I did not get time to read much about Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj. If you ever get time, you can read a book written by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. He wrote a full book on Sri Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj. Jai Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So he wrote a wonderful book on Vamsitash Maharaj. I tried to read that, but long back, but then I forgot to complete it. So I know little bit about him, that he is like very renounced. It is said that it is said about him that people did not renounce him; he renounced the world. He was staying on the bank of Ganga in Navadvip, and he was worshipping his deities. He has 6 deities, it is said: Radha Krishna, Gaur Gadadhar, and Nittai, and Gopal. And except Radha Krishna, all other deities he would say, you cook yourself and offer bhoga. Radha Krishna, he would say, Radha Krishna needs to be cooked rice and sabji, so I will make only for them. Other deities he would say, you cook yourself and offer. So he was on that level. And after that he went to Vrindavan, and rest of the life he lived there. I don't know much about him. Maybe you can see the Vaishnava calendar and you can read. So Raghunandan Thakur, there is a wonderful story behind him. So Raghunandan Thakur is the son of Mukunda Das. Okay. So Mukunda and Narahari Sarkar, and one second. There is another. There are 3 brothers. There are 3 brothers: Mukunda, Madhava, and Narahari Sarkar. So Raghunandan Thakur is the son of Mukunda Das. So there is a village called Srikhanda in Bengal, near Khatwa. So they were staying there, and so he is a small boy, 5 years old boy. So every day Mukunda, he would worship the family deity, the Gopal deity, and that Gopal deity is worshipped from many generations. Many generations are worshipped. So one day it so happened that he went out for some work, and he told Raghunandan Thakur, his son, you please do offering, and he explained the importance of the deity and how to do the bhoga, offering the bhoga, everything he explained. And he is a small boy, innocent. He said, okay, yes, very nice, like that. Then the father went outside. Then Raghunandan Thakur, as told by the father, he made nice bhoga plate. He brought in front of Gopal, and he offered the mantras, everything. And Gopal is not eating. The plate is still like that only. And Raghunandan said, Gopal, please eat the bhoga, please take. He is not eating. And he is a small boy. He started crying, falling on the ground. Why you are not eating? You must eat. And he is crying. And by seeing the innocent devotion, the pure devotion of Raghunandan Thakur, Krishna became very pleased, Gopal, and he just manifested there. And he took that bhoga, laddu and other items, he just ate. Finished everything. Whole plate is empty. And in some time, the Mukunda Das, the father, had come. Said, can you please bring prasadam? I want to have prasadam. What prasadam? Everything is over. Gopal had eaten everything. And the father was shocked. How could it happen? My boy never lied me. He never lied me. So there must be something going on behind. So after a few days again he thought that, let me test him. So he said the same thing. Okay, I am going outside. You do the bhoga offering. I will come back in some time. As told by the father, he did the same. He made the plate, put there. And what the father did, he went behind, and through the window he was observing what is happening. And as previously he started offering, and the Lord appeared there and took it is said laddu. He took the laddu and started eating. And when the father saw this, he was completely shocked. How Gopal himself is coming and taking the prasad. It's so wonderful, so fascinating, so interesting this is. And this thing the Lord had observed, that this father is watching from behind, and he was shocked with this. So Krishna did not do any kind of covering up, something like that. He just very peacefully, he just unmanifested himself. And then when he unmanifested, the laddu is as good like that only. And after that, the father came inside and he embraced Raghunandan Thakur by seeing his pure, innocent devotion. And he took him, it is said he took him onto his lap and embraced him like that. And it is said that still the deity is present in that village of Srikanda, and the deity is still holding the half laddu which he ate. When he ate the half laddu, when he went back, deity went inside. So still the Lord is there, Gopal, holding laddu half, the same laddu half. Raghunandan Thakur ki Jai. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Any questions? Yes, go.
You mentioned that when you want to go to transcendental level, then one has to come to mode of goodness.
Yeah.
And when we see proper disciples, they were, we know that they are in mode of ignorance and even lesser than that. But when they came to contact with Prabhupada, so they did not even come to mode of goodness, but they directly came to the transcendental level. But when we see ourselves, even sinful and we were okay, but even we do endeavor also, but still we are not able to go to that level.
That is because of the association of pure devotee, Prabhupada. Question is, Prabhupada disciples, they are coming from like hippie background, which is completely into mode of ignorance, but they had acted so wonderfully. It seemed as if they are completely in the transcendental platform. But we don't have any such sinful background, at least in this life. Don't know the previous life. In this life, we don't have that sinful background, but why we are not able to act on that platform? So one thing is, because they were in the touch of a pure devotee, Prabhupada. See, the presence of this body itself shows that we are in the modes. Body is tamogun, right? So matter is tamogun. So itself shows that we are in the modes. So Prabhupada also has body, but as a pure devotee, there is a verse about pure devotee. Iha yasya harer dasyar karmana manasagra nikhilas of avasthasishu jivan muktasa uchyate. Such a pure devotee, even though he is living, he is liberated. So because they came in touch with such a pure devotee, very high class, Uttama, Mahabhagavata, it is very easy for any jiva to act on that platform. We can experience it in our life also. When you are in the temple, when you are with the devotees, you are chanting, dancing in the kirtan, your consciousness is very high. Isn't it? As soon as you go out, or you speak with some people, karmis, immediately you see the material modes in that. You are able to feel the modes there. That's because of that touch. But when you are in the kirtan, you are dancing. It is said when you are dancing in the kirtan, it is the soul which is dancing. It is not the body. It is the soul which is dancing. It is said like that. So the time you are in touch with that pure devotee, you act like you work on the order of that pure devotee. It is that pure devotee who is acting through everyone. In the Sika of Prabhupada, it is Prabhupada who empowered the disciples to act in such a wonderful activity, going alone to London or China or Japan. Balimardan Swami before. He went to Japan. There's a book called Preaching in the Pacific Rim. He explains about how he preached in Japan, China, Australia, all this. Alone. Just imagine alone. How is it possible? If someone tells you go alone to villages and go and preach, not possible. It's Prabhupada who is acting through them and basically empowering them too. We also do the preaching or any activity work by the empowerment of senior. That is the When the senior gives you instruction, with that instruction also coming, what is coming to you? The empowerment. As simple as that. You were not able to do certain things, but by the empowerment of a senior, you will be able to do. It's possible. So when you are in touch with that parampara, then you are empowered. When we think we are independent, I don't want any senior, I don't want any guru, I have books, I can read, I can become gnani, I can become scholar, then lost. So nimitta matram bhava savyasacha. Who said this? Krishna said, no? Is Arjuna, I don't know how to fight. He is a wonderful archer. He fought with the demigods. He defeated them. He fought with the powerful what is it? Nivata Kavachas. The demons who reside in the ocean. Very powerful people. He fought with them. He defeated them. He fought with Lord Shiva. Shiva was pleased with him and he gave Pashpatastra. No one won. The battle was going on. The fight was going on. And Shiva said, I am very pleased. He just gave that Pashpatastra. And ultimately, when it came to Mahabharat war, he collapsed. And finally, Nimitta Matram Bhavasavya Sahaja. You are just an instrument. So when we are in touch with the Lord, through Parampara, we are Nimitta Matra. We are given empowered. We are empowered to do such activity. Can you get that many donations? No? We are getting rice, dal, so many items you are getting. Can you get it without taking name of Prabhupada or ISKCON? Is it possible? No. So it is Prabhupada who empowered this society, ISKCON, and it is his empowerment we are working. We don't have any face to show without ISKCON or Prabhupada. So when you go in the dhoti kurta dress, tilak, as a ISKCON devotee, you are given a lot of respect. That's because you are coming from the ISKCON society. As a normal person, pant shirt you go, who will care? We go to sabji collection, people see as devotees from ISKCON, Maharaj, and they give sabji. You go in pant shirt, who will give sabji? So we are empowered in many ways. Otherwise, how we will get? You may say that we are not like Prabhupada disciples. No need to compare like that, but we are also empowered in many ways. What we were and what we are now. We are also empowered in many ways. Yeah. So, any other questions?
Just like a deceased person, it's very difficult to know what is good or bad for him. Similarly, who is not very mature, it's very difficult to take for one who is conditioned. It's very difficult for him to know what activities are there in mode of goodness and what activities are there in mode of ignorance. Sometimes it becomes like both are, like this activity is also goodness, this activity may be passion. So like if based on our intelligence or our endeavors, if we just focus on modes, we may skip the services which is being assigned by our superiors. And also we know like Prabhuji gave very nice example like Prabhupada disciples. Like they just simply surrendered and immediately they translated all these modes. And also in Shankaracharya prayers in his Guru Ashtakam, he said what is the use of being a Brahmana, what is the use of being a Vaishya, Sudra, what is the use of knowing the whole knowledge if we are not surrendered to the spiritual master. So how to understand like whether I should just endeavor for a mode of goodness or should I?
Anything that you do in temple is devotional activity. There is nothing like goodness, passion, or ignorance. Anything that you do in temple is a devotional activity you have to consider. We all know how famous, how glorious is Ramanujacharya, no? He is the Acharya in the age of Kali Yuga in the Sri Sampradaya. He is the one who gave the Bhashya, Sri Bhashya and many books and established Sri Vaishnava as a proper Sampradaya and preached and made many disciples, converted many kings into Vaishnavites. Such a great Acharya, what he was doing in the initial days, in the Kanchi temple, he is bringing water from the pond to that Lord for the service. One Acharya, he is the Jagad Acharya, he is the Acharya for the whole world. What he is doing? Bringing some water pots. You may say that is a Shudrik activity. Doing work is it chanting some Vedas or what? No. It is a Shudrik activity, no? But when it is connected to Krishna, it is not Shudrik. It is transcendent, it is devotional. So what is important is the consciousness. What is important is the consciousness. Many times it is said in the lectures, you sweep, a sweeper, a devotee one who is sweeping in the temple is as good as a devotee who is raising lakhs of rupees. He is going for Krishna, he is doing for Krishna, both are doing according to their capacities. But if your capacity is to raise funds, you need not just be as a sweeper in the temple. As per your capacity, you do much higher services. Use your talents in the service of the Lord. Is it clear? So there is nothing like a mode of ignorance or like that. No. Any activity in devotional service is for Krishna, that's it. Okay, any other questions? Prabhupada, what he was doing? He was cooking in the New York, cleaning the same pots which they left, juta plates. What is that activity? Cleaning juta plates. In hotels, restaurants, who cleans juta plates? Workers, Shudras. But Acharya is doing like that. For what? For what? Because he sees Krishna there. He sees them as the devotees only, as a future acharyas. And what they eat is prasadam only. So anything connected to Krishna is spiritual only. Okay. So, because we are in the material mode, so we see something good, something bad, this is low, this is high. One who is Brahma Bhuta Prasanna, he doesn't care only. What is what, he doesn't care only. He doesn't care for anything. You beat him, you scold him, you chastise him, you appreciate him. He just smiles. You tell anything you do, he will do happily. That's because of his humbleness, his spiritual qualities. Okay? Hare Krishna. Granthiraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanande.